welcome to my first Wander and Wellness yoga class. This is an idea that I had that for me is a way to invite you not only into a yoga practice, but also just to encourage you and invite you to get out and explore and wander wherever you are. I know that for the majority of us right now, that means wandering where we live, around our immediate communities, our cities, our states, which can be truthfully just as fun and adventurous as wandering around a new city or state or country. So hopefully this will be a fun way to encourage that kind of wandering spirit that a lot of us are missing, and also to introduce to you and share with you this practice of yoga that I feel is truly connected to that wandering spirit. So welcome to the first class. Today we are going to be practicing a series that I put together. It is 7 yoga poses to support and boost or power the immune system. I know that right now in our current climate, there tends to be this feeling of not quite being able to be in control of our surroundings. And so my goal is to offer you something that you can control in some way, and to feel like that you are being able to take control of your life and your health in a positive way. Obviously we can't control everything around us, but the things that we can control, I want to encourage us to connect with those. So today we are going to practice this series of immunity boosting yoga postures. Where you are, take a moment, if you have not done so already, find a place that you would like to practice. I am in a local park today, and I'll give you a little tour of the park at the end of class today. I am using a beach towel as my yoga mat, and then I'm just on the grass. Before you continue with this practice today, go ahead and hit pause. Take a minute to find a place that you would like to explore this practice. If you want to join me outside, go ahead and find a place outside. If you want to practice indoors, find a nice quiet place inside. And really all you need is somewhere comfortable to come to the ground, and then either a wall or a tree for one of our poses at the end. All right, go ahead and come to a comfortable seated position. Allow your eyes to close. Begin to notice the breath. Connecting with our breath is one of the most powerful ways that we can regain control of our bodies, our minds, and even our emotions. So take a minute here to just simply begin to notice and connect with the feeling of the inhale and the exhale. Begin to allow the face to soften, allow the shoulders to relax away from the ears. And then begin to deepen the breath. Bring the palm of the right hand to the low belly, and then meet that palm there with the left hand as well. And with the inhale, begin to expand the belly into the hands, filling up just like a balloon. As you exhale, release the breath, and imagine that balloon deflating as everything releases back to center. continue with several breaths like this, breathing deeply into the belly. And on the exhales, gently opening the mouth and just sighing some cleansing exhales. Continuing to follow that deep belly breath, expanding on the inhale, filling up the lungs with fresh oxygen, and exhaling, releasing everything back to center. Let's do 3 more like that. Inhale and exhale. 2 more. And 1 last full round of breath. Beautiful. Go ahead and release the hands. They can come down resting on your knees or out to the side. Allow the eyes to remain closed. Take a moment to simply notice how you feel after taking a moment to breathe deeply into the body. We're going to move into a spinal twist from the seated position. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead, reach the fingertips towards the sky. Take a minute here to just kind of alternate reaching towards the sky, stretching through the side body. And then coming back to center, both fingertips reaching together towards the sky, taking a nice big inhale. On the exhale, begin to twist to the right, bringing the left palm down to the right knee, reaching the right fingertips behind you, connecting with the ground. Going to inhale, lifting from the hips. Exhale, gently twist. Still imagining the shoulders being away from the ears. We're going to continue to move with the breath here. So on each inhale, imagine reaching through the crown of the head, lengthening through the spine, and on the exhale, twisting a little bit further through the center of the body. As you go through this movement, be mindful that we're twisting without forcing anything. So that means that your twist might be a really small movement. It may not feel very large, and that is perfectly okay. The idea is that we are moving with intention, so that on each inhale, we're offering that intention of creating length and space. And on the exhale, this intention of twisting to ring out through the body. We're going to take 2 more rounds of breath here. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, exhale, and on the next next inhale, sweeping the arms back towards the sky as we unwind. And exhale, palms down to the earth, coming back to center for a moment. Taking a pause here to reconnect with the breath. Rolling the shoulders away from the ears. Checking in that we're not holding any tension in the face. So relaxing through the jaw. Let's prepare to move to the other side. Inhale, sweeping the arms overhead, reaching fingertips towards the sky. Let's pause here for just a few breaths, taking that alternating motion of reaching right and left fingertips, stretching through the side body. Pausing in center, take a nice big inhale, reach, and exhale. Right palm comes to the left knee, left fingertips behind us. We're going to inhale, lengthening through the spine, and exhale, twist. As you twist, remember once again, this might be a very small motion to begin with. So we're not forcing anything, but we're moving with this intention. If it feels comfortable, you can take a nice gaze over that left shoulder, or just allow the gaze to be wherever feels most comfortable. That might be simply looking out to the left side with a neutral neck. Softening through the face, releasing shoulders away from the ears. And moving with the breath here for a few rounds. So inhale, lifting, lengthening through the spine, and exhale, twisting. Inhale, lift and lengthen, and exhale, twist. And taking just a couple more breaths here. On the next inhale, reaching arms back overhead as we unwind. And exhale, palms together, drawing down through heart center. Really beautiful, everyone. We're gonna move into child's pose from here. So to prepare for that, we'll be moving onto our hands and knees. So take a moment here, reach the legs behind you, and find your way onto your hands and knees. So as we prepare to move into child's pose, I am going to offer a couple options. I'm going to invite you first into extended child's pose and exploring that option. And if that doesn't feel comfortable to you or inviting to you today, then you can always come back to child's pose with the arms alongside the body. For extended child's pose, you'll bring the big toes together, knees wide, and then you're just going to walk the fingertips forward, allowing the heart to begin to soften towards the earth. You'll find this nice lengthening stretch through the spine and even through the side bodies. If that does not feel inviting to you today, go ahead and bring the knees a little bit closer. And then you'll just begin to fold over, bringing the forehead down towards the earth. And then reach the arms behind you, coming into this variation of child's pose. Might feel more comfortable to you. We're going to hang out in child's pose for a few moments, exploring it from this yin perspective of surrendering to the pose and allowing ourselves to soften into that space. So take a moment here, move into a child's pose that feels inviting to you, and then I will ask you to connect with your breath here in just a moment. From child's pose, allow the eyes to close. Return to the nice big belly breaths that we began with today. Allowing the belly to expand on the inhale. Coming back to a cleansing breath through the exhale out the mouth. And taking a few more full breaths like that. Using this time to reconnect with the fullness of the breath, to reconnect with that choice that you have to be in control of the movement of the breath. And to also reconnect with the opportunity that deepening the breath and slowing it down offers us to move towards stillness in our bodies and minds, to start to slow down, and to take a pause as needed from any outside distractions or even internal distractions in the mind. Stay here in child's pose for another moment or so. Through this connection of breath, take a moment to bring awareness to the physical self without any judgment, just simply noticing what is showing up for you today in the body. Knowing that if there's anywhere that maybe feels a bit stuck, so to speak, that you can invite the breath into that space, again, moving with intention, offering this intention of opening and expanding on the inhale, and releasing, surrendering on the exhale. Allowing the jaw to relax, softening the shoulders. We'll be here in child's pose for about 5 more rounds of breath. as you feel complete in child's pose, begin to gently walk the hands back towards the body, using the palms of the hands to support you in rising out of that pose. Prepare to move into Sphinx posture from here. So go ahead and just come all the way down onto your belly, legs stretched out behind you, and resting one cheek on the ground. I'm going to take a few breaths here, allowing the body to come to this nice neutral resting place. And turn to the other cheek for a few breaths. We're going to move into Sphinx from here. So staying with the belly connected to the earth, go ahead and bend the elbows, bringing elbows under shoulders, forearms out in front of the body, palms nice and wide. And just gently lift the chest from the ground, coming into a nice gentle back bend. Legs are stretched out behind you, tops of feet on the ground. We're going to explore Sphinx from a couple different vantage points. The first is going to be this bowing forward to explore releasing through the back of the neck. So maintaining a gentle lift through the front body, tuck the chin to the chest. Allow the shoulders once again to roll away from the ears. And spend just a couple breaths here exploring any sensation through the back body. Depending on where you are in your body today, for some of us this might create quite a bit of sensation from that line at the base of the skull traveling down the spine. For others, we may not notice it quite as much. We're just simply checking in with our individual selves and seeing where we are in our bodies. So take another full round of breath here, maybe even starting to release the neck by just shaking the head yes and no. And then begin to look up, taking a nice gentle gaze forward, and explore Sphinx through the front body. So maintaining this gentle lift through the chest, and then imagining drawing the heart forward, opening across the front body. You might even feel a gentle stretch through the abdomen. Still being mindful that the shoulders are relaxed away from the ears. And also checking in, noticing that we are continuing to breathe fully. Making sure that we're still allowing for these nice, complete inhales, nice, full exhales. Always being mindful that if at any time we begin to hold our breath, that we take a step out of the pose until we can return to a full movement of breath. For the next few breaths, explore Sphinx however you'd like, either with this gentle opening through the front body or coming back to releasing the neck, whatever your body's calling for, spending just a few breaths there. Whenever you feel complete, allow yourself to once again return with one cheek to the ground, taking a moment to invite everything back to this neutral space. Turning to the other cheek again for a few breaths. And then begin to bring the palms back towards the body, supporting yourself as we move away from the ground, and just make your way back towards a seated posture or coming to your knees. We are going to move into a standing forward fold. As we prepare to move, I'd like to invite you to take your time in this transition. Allow yourself time to explore stretching through the palms of the hands, the wrist, the soles of the feet, and allowing yourself time to move to standing. We have plenty of time, we're not in a rush, so take a moment and just explore that transition. What I like to do is come onto my hands and knees. I like to tuck my toes so that I'm giving a nice stretch through the soles of my feet. Hands come nice and wide, stretching through the palms. And then I'm just taking a minute here, turning the wrist out, fingertips towards the body. Checking in on the other side. And then just shifting back, taking a couple breaths here, stretching through the soles of the feet. All right, and then we'll just begin to move towards standing, using the support of our hands, keeping the knees bent. Taking our time, rolling all the way up through the spine, coming to standing. We'll take one nice big inhale overhead, reaching towards the sky. And bend the knees, hinge at the hips, and dive forward, coming back to this forward fold. Begin in your forward fold with your knees fairly bent so that the belly is resting on the thighs. This will allow for a bit more of a release through the low back. Allow the arms to hang wherever it feels comfortable. Allow the crown of the head to drop towards the earth. And maybe begin to even just release through the neck. Nodding yes, shaking no. If this feels exactly like where you want to be, go ahead and stay as you are, continuing to soften into this forward fold. If you'd like to explore some stretching through the hamstrings, begin to straighten the knees a bit, keeping a slight bend because we don't want to lock the knees. Explore how that shifts this focus of the stretch into the hamstrings a bit more than the low back. You'll still be getting both, but it just changes the attention a little bit. From here, if you want, you can explore shifting the weight side to side, even lifting the toes. So take the next several breaths for yourself, moving, exploring, surrendering to forward fold, however it calls to you today. Take 3 more full rounds of breath here. Those nice full inhales into the belly. And if you'd like, that cleansing exhale out the mouth. And one more. Bend the knees, bring the palms to the ground. Begin to slowly make your way down to seated. We're going to move into our last couple poses for the day. These last 2 poses, you're going to want to be near a wall for the very last pose, or a tree to support you for that final pose. So if you're not in a space already for that, go ahead and move to a space where you're going to have the support of the wall, a tree, a fence, wherever it is that you are. And then we're going to move into our last 2 poses for today. The next pose that we're going to move into is a reclined cobbler's pose. This is a pose that you're probably familiar with. It is commonly referred to as butterfly posture, if you remember from like elementary school or a gym class that you've taken. So we'll be bringing the soles of the feet together, allowing the knees to open wide. The biggest difference is that we're going to be doing this lying down. So take a minute to find a nice comfortable place on the ground. Begin to roll down onto your back. And then once you find a nice comfortable place on the ground, bring the soles of the feet together and begin to draw the heels towards the body. The knees will naturally begin to open to the sides. So we're going to explore this posture from a yin perspective, meaning that we are going to allow ourselves to settle in to the pose for several minutes with the intention of allowing our body, specifically our hips, to gently open in their own time. So we're not forcing anything, but we're simply providing this opportunity for the body to begin to soften, to begin to relax, and to begin to release any tension in the hips. So as you draw the heels towards the body, whenever you notice that point of sensation, go ahead and pause, and then find your way back to your breath. The arms can come wherever it feels comfortable to you. If you'd like to allow for some gentle opening across the chest, feel free to reach the arms out to the sides in a nice T posture, or even a little V shape to open through the chest. This will open all the way through the front body as you begin to allow the belly to rise on the inhale and release on the exhale. You can also allow the arms to simply rest alongside the body, or bring the palms back to the belly similar to how we began our practice. Wherever you choose, close the eyes. Take a moment to connect with the breath. Allow the belly to gently rise on the inhale. And release on the exhale. Even though this particular pose is with the intention of opening through the hips, continue to allow the rest of the body to soften, allowing the shoulders and the upper back to surrender to the ground. Allowing the entire front body to gently soften and open with each breath. And we'll be here for another minute or so. So continue to simply breathe into this space. If at any time you are distracted by a thought or by a noise, acknowledge what it is and then invite yourself back to the breath, reconnecting with your practice. We're going to allow for a few more breaths here. Taking some nice full inhales. Returning to those cleansing exhales out the mouth if you'd like. Welcome in 2 more complete rounds of breath. And 1 more. At the end of that last exhale, either bring the knees back together gently, or you can simply extend the feet out in front of you. Just taking a minute to slowly come out of that pose. And take a minute here in this nice neutral posture, just lying on the ground. To take a few nice full breaths. We're going to move into our last posture of the practice. So I'm going to show you how to move into that and then invite you to follow along. I am outside, so I'm going to be taking this last posture, legs up the wall. using a tree. You can use any sort of support that's around you. So really the idea is just that we have some sort of support that we can rest our legs on to allow us to come into this posture. So wherever you are, go ahead and scooch your bum up as close as you can, coming to the side, and then we're going to swing our legs up. And then it might take a little bit of adjusting. So once you have your legs up the wall, find wherever feels comfortable to rest your arms. Again, they can be out in a T shape, they can be alongside the body. You can always rest them on the belly. Allow the eyes to close. And then just begin to surrender to this pose. This is a really wonderful pose to take to reverse the blood flow. It helps us create a little bit of balance in the body, which can help us relax. And all of those things are positives for boosting our immune system. So allow yourself to simply settle into this pose. Returning to the breath anytime that you get distracted, simply as a way to reconnect with the body, your practice in the present moment. We'll be here for just another minute. Bringing your attention back to your breath for a few more rounds. From here, we're going to prepare to move into a final relaxation for our practice. Traditionally, this is taken in corpse pose, lying on our backs, but truthfully, you can take it from any posture that feels relaxing to you. So if you are really loving this place with legs up the wall, I invite you to just stay where you are for the next few moments to complete our practice. And if you would like to move out of this posture and come to a traditional corpse pose, begin to bring the feet down the wall or the tree, and then just scoot yourself back and stretch your body all the way out on the ground. Arms alongside the body, palms facing up towards the sky. Allow the legs to Take a few of those nice intentional belly breaths here, allowing for a few more cleansing exhales out the mouth as we move into our final relaxation. Just releasing anything from the practice that you'd like to clear out before we settle in. Begin to allow the breath to make its way back to its natural rhythm. And settle in for this last moment of final relaxation. Begin to bring some movement back into the body. Wiggling toes, fingers. If you are still in legs up the wall, go ahead and just take a few breaths to begin to bring the legs down to the ground. And then roll gently onto your right side. Draw the knees towards the chest. Coming into a nice nurturing position for a few breaths. And as you feel ready, begin to gently support yourself in coming towards seated. Alright, that is our practice for today. I hope that that has helped you connect with yourself and reconnect with your power and your control of your body and your breath and your mind. And I hope that that is something that you carry with you throughout the week and throughout the month and the year. This practice is one that you can come back to. You can do it as a full practice, a full series, or feel free to pick and choose any of these poses that we've gone through today and just do one a day as a way to ground yourself and to move towards stillness and connect with your breath. So thank you for coming to this first Wander and Wellness practice with me. Feel free to reach out with any questions, and in all of our yoga practices, we always honor ourselves and our practice and the space that we share with one another. Even if it is a virtual space, I still like to honor that, and so we'll just end with Namaste to honor those pieces. So bringing palms together, thumbs coming to heart center. Allow the eyes to close. And thank you so much for showing up for yourself, for being a part of this virtual community in this new world and space that we are in. And as we bow, we honor ourselves, we honor this community, and we honor our practice. And namaste. All right, so as part of this Wander and Wellness series, I again want to be encouraging everyone to go out and explore, even if that is in your own neighborhood. So I have been doing a lot of practices in the park near my house, and also exploring lots of parks around Salt Lake City during this kind of crazy time of not being able to travel as much. So I'm just going to show you this park that I've been coming to, and if you're in the Salt Lake area, this is a really great park to come practice yoga at. Definitely people walk by and wonder what you're doing, but there are a lot of places. It's really spread out, so there's just tons of space to come practice, to relax, whatever it is that you want to do. So I'm going to show you a little bit of what this park looks like. I'll tell you where it is, and if you're not in Salt Lake City, I hope this encourages you to at least go find a park somewhere where you are, and to take some time to explore outside and explore something that is in your community that maybe you haven't had a chance to go to. So this park is located off of 1100 East and between 3900 South and 4500 South. You can also get to it from 1300 East. And this is kind of like my little grove of trees that I do a lot of my yoga practices in. So kind of a cool little spot. There's a ton of shade. And then for those of you familiar with the Salt Lake area, there's a really cool view of Mount Olympus. So it's a beautiful park, and there's just a ton of space. Sometimes I will practice up on the hill by the pavilion. There's a little like concrete amphitheater up there. So if I want to practice on a more concrete surface, I will go up there. Also tons of space on the hills. If anyone remembers me posting an Instagram story of almost blowing away in the wind, that's where I was up on that hill. But this park goes forever. There's so much space. You can seriously just spread out. You can hide in a little corner of the park if you don't want to see anyone, or you can find the little grove of trees and do your yoga practice. So this is the park that I have been coming to for the past couple months, and it was new for me to explore because I really had never come to this park before. I knew of it, but I hadn't really taken advantage of it. So it's been really fun to have somewhere that I can walk to, that I can practice yoga. Wherever you are, I would invite you to go and find a park this month. Take your phone, turn on the video, and practice a little bit of yoga in the park, and do a little bit of wander and wellness. And I will see you next month with a new location and a new practice.